This is how RStudio looks like. As you can see, the screen is divided in 4 sections. This one in the bottom left part is called the console. The console is where you see all the outputs from your code. You can also type some piece of code right here and then you'll see the results right away. However, this is not usually what you do. What you want to do is save a record of all the code that you have used in your work. For that reason, we have this part over here in the top left, which is called the RScript. An RScript is the text editor from RStudio that allows you to record all your codes. This is very useful in case you want to save your work for later or just review some of what you have done in the past. This section in here in the top right corner is called the environment. The environment is where you store and you save all the objects you have used, like data or just important values. Finally, we have this section in the bottom right part, which is the working directory. The working directory is where you can see all the folders from your computer, as well as the folder where your work is stored. Okay, so now let's get started. First, I wanted to talk to you about 2 short keys that are very useful. The first one is the Ctrl+Enter key. Ctrl+Enter allows you to run a line of code where you are at. And Ctrl+L allows you to clear the console in case you don't want to see your output anymore. For instance, let's say that you want to store now the console and then you press Ctrl+L key and now it's clear. Let's see how R works as a calculator. You can add, subtract, multiply, divide, find the remainder and the model, as well as compute some exponents. Besides, R has stored some useful built-in functions. Here I put some example of those most basic functions that you will see in R. First, let's try to run the logarithm of 10 base e, and then we get that the result is 2.3. If you're interested in understanding how a specific function works, you can't just type the interrogation mark and the name of the function, right, like this, and then you'll see that a window in the part of your working directory you'll see the window that tells you how the function works. You'll see a detailed explanation, its usage, and the arguments that this specific function requires. We are going to get in more detail with this in different videos. Here I have another examples of logarithmic operations. Logarithm base e, logarithm base 2. This is the summation function. The summation function is the sum of all the elements of a set of numbers that you have given to the function. In this example, that set is 2, 3, 4, 5, and the corresponding sum is 14. In a similar way, we have the product function, which computes the product of all the elements of that set. In that case, 120. Moreover, R has some built-in constants. Pi, for instance. We can also print all the lowercase letters from the alphabet, the uppercase letters, the month names, and abbreviations of the months. Some other useful built-in functions are the round function, which gives you the closest integer to a number that you have given initially. And as you can see, if we type round in here in the help window command, this is another useful way to find help from a specific function. You can see that the round function requires an argument that tells me how many digits I want my output to be expressed in. In the case I have given here, I just put 1 digit. And the answer is 4.6. The floor function, on the other hand, gives you the rounding down approximation. In this case, it will give me the 4. The ceiling does the opposite, and it will give me the closest integer above the number I have given it, 5 in this example. The trunc function rounds a number to its closest integer in direction to 0. In this example, I will get 3, but in this other example, I will get -2. Finally, I want to talk to you about how to save things in your environment. The way to assign a value to a given name is by using this kind of arrow over here. If I run this line of code, you'll see that in my working directory, I get the value of A. Please notice that in our console, we get the line of the assignation of the value, but I don't get the number printed out. If I want to print it out, I will have to type the corresponding number just like this, or equivalently like this. Another way to assigning a value is by using the equal sign. I do not recommend this way. I will explain why later on, but this is also possible. If I do it, I will get my result here in the working space. Here I can print my A value, my B value, and as R is already interpreting A and B as numbers, 2 and 3 respectively, I can operate them. You can add them or subtract them. What happens if I just assign a value of a number in quotation marks? In this example, I have given the value of 2 in quotation marks to the letter C. As you can see, I have stored in my working directory. However, this number is not the same as I have given in the A value. And the reason for that we are going to talk about in another video. Another not so common way to assign a value to a letter is by typing this backward arrow. This is not so common, but it also works. Here it is. You could also print a word, hello, for instance. What happens if I just type the same word without the quotation marks? R does not understand that, because for R, hello is nothing. It only understands it if it's in quotation marks. But what if I just assigned it to a given value? Hello, my name is Juan, for instance. Now I got it in my working space, and now I can print it. Here it is. Another way to print a value is by using the function print. Let's say that now you want to delete everything that is in your working directory. I'm sorry, in your working space. Then I run the rm function, which is a shortcut for reset memory. And you have to type all the values that you want to delete in the arguments of the function. Note that all the values that I have put in there have disappeared from the working space. Another way for you to delete your working space completely is by clicking this little broom over here. It says, are you sure you want to remove all objects from the environment? And I said, yes. And now my environment is empty. Now, this is everything for today. I hope to see you in a different video.